Hello, beautiful singers. This is Valerie White Williams, and today I would like to talk to you about how to build range. The way we work with range is, first of all, we want to have a good foundation of our vocal technique, which involves keeping the tension out of the face and making sure we're giving plenty of energy in our breathing. And I have plenty of videos on those concepts. So I look at range as kind of like a curve, a bell curve. So most of the singing we're going to sing is in that medium voice, and then goes like this on either sides. So of course the medium voice is what we have most singing is in medium voice, but then we have the low notes and we have the high notes. Now it really depends on your voice type, how high you can go and how low you can go, although there are always exceptions. There are always those people that can sing everything. However, you might be lucky, but we can always take our voice and do the most of it. Now, for me, I am a high soprano. I have a high voice, but I've worked really hard to get my low notes. That said, I don't have the power that a lower voice type will have in the low voice. Likewise, some of my low singers have trained their high voice, but they're not going to have the power that I have up there, or the ease. So that's what we're talking about. So as we are in that middle voice, that's going to be kind of the foundation. And as we go to the edges, we are not going to have necessarily the power and the stamina, even in the best of circumstances, which is why finding things in the right key is so important. So just keep that in mind. It's not like we're going to have huge stamina on the ends of our range, but we can still use that. So it's not like everything's even, it's like this, okay? So the way we work on range is kind of like stretching. When you're stretching to touch your toes or you're learning to do the splits, you don't just shove your body down there. We kind of ease into it. And so that's the way it works with our range as well. We want to do stretching exercises up there. Now there's different approaches to the high voice and the low voice. The high voice requires much more breath energy to be able to sustain the high pitches. As I explained with the vocal cords are like these two little pieces of elastic like this. And so the higher we go, the more they stretch out. And it takes energy to hold that stretch, okay? So to work on high notes, we really need to build our breath energy. So I know that's kind of like a broken record, but we need to learn to use the breath to energize. Now that said, we can take the breath and then energize it by stretching exercises. Some of my favorite ways of working on high voice is using staccato patterns and also slides. So staccato pattern, which is a short pattern, is going to be something like this. So those light little pinprick sounds is going to help you find a narrowness, because the high notes feel narrow, and that's another issue that a lot of people struggle with, because again, they want to feel this voice is like this giant band width, where it's actually this. It feels narrow up there. So we need to energize that narrow sound. Meanwhile, we are using this breath energy. It's almost like we're spinning balls up there, little points of light with our breath. So as we go higher, super up there, and we're using that breath. So those are a very easy way. The other thing I like to use to build the high voice is what I call slides on intervals like a fourth or a fifth. So this is a fifth. We're going to go wee. That's another great way to build the high voice. And when we build the high voice, the first step is we're just going to like capture the flag. We're going to go up there and come down, because usually that's the way we're first going to have that note. When we get more confident, we can hold it out. And then the third way is that we can land on it. So usually we just barely touch it and then we build energy and we get used to how it feels, because singing is about how things feel. So that's some keys with a high voice. Now the low voice is different. We need to use our breath down there, but it's not as energized, but we definitely need to feel the energy pulling us down. Low notes require relaxation. So that's the number one thing that's different. Not that we don't need to relax in the high voice, but we need to energize in an intense way. With the low voice, we need to feel blah, whoa. So, which is why on these reality TV shows, usually the low notes aren't very good because people are nervous. And that's very typical. When you're nervous and uptight, it can be really difficult to get that relaxation that you want in your low notes. And so that's also why when you're sick or tired, your low notes are usually awesome, because the vocal cords might be slightly swollen and it's easier to find that thicker. So what happens when we're singing low notes, high notes are stretched out, low notes are thick and fat. So we need to bring those low notes into that thick mud flap feeling. And again, it depends on the voice type. Men, or especially basses, have much thicker vocal cords, and bigger ones, so they can actually get those like mud flap sounds sometimes. Women, not so much. So I'm gonna do some of my low notes. Sorry. And I want you to feel, let's try that again. And I like to use this exercise. Ya, ya, ya. So I'm going ya, 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 using my tongue to make the ya, not this ya, ya, ya. Just completely blah. Ya, ya, ya. Ya, ya, ya. Ya, ya, ya. And that wasn't very good. Ya, ya, ya. So I had to think of relaxing to get that note. And yeah, I know a lot of you can sing way lower than me, but for me, and I'm a high energy person, I need to let that energy relax, and still use the breath, but more of it like a smoothing out than energy for the high notes. And again, on the ends of the range, we don't have as much stamina. So you're not going to be able to sing as many low notes and as many high notes as you can in the middle voice. All right, I hope that helps. Oh, one more thing. What you hear me doing is singing exercises in half steps. And that is another way to train the voice. We're just going up the half step, a little bit higher, or a little bit lower, a little bit lower. So when we do this, ya, 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 ya. Okay, that's low F. That's pretty good for me. And to be honest, here's another thing about low notes. When I was in my teens, I could not sing that note. But as I got older, my low notes got richer. And that is another thing that happens as you mature. The voice doesn't reach full maturity until late 20s for some girls and usually mid 30s for guys. And then that voice has that full richness. So if you're struggling with low notes like I was as a young teen in the early 20s, trust me, it'll get better. It'll get better. And I learned how they felt, because it is a feeling thing. The low notes feel different than the medium voice, than the high voice. And so that's another thing that gets singers confused, is that it's like riding a bike with different gears. It's constantly feeling different. And so we need to get used to how those notes feel and what we need to do, either relaxing for the low notes or energizing for the high notes. And keep working at it. And make sure that you're always relaxed in the face. That is key. If you're pushing out or straining or necks are going out, then you're using the wrong muscles. We want to use the breath to do everything, and everything here is relaxed and free. All right, I hope this helps. Please let me know how these tips are working for you. I so appreciate all the likes, shares, subscribes. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click on the bell so you can be notified of all my uploads. And also, I'm wanting to invite everybody to go to my Facebook page for Vocal Splendor Studios, because I'm looking at doing some uploads and also live streams on Facebook, and I want you to be aware. So when I have 3-month breaks like I just did, you can still be in touch and learn, and I can instantly show you what I want to do. All right, thanks for the likes again. Have a great day and sing on.